Hi there. I'm going to bring you another inner child reading today. Got a couple decks. I pulled some oracle cards here. We'll see how they come up. I just give darn good advice, basically. But we'll see how you arrive in this reading and how those seem to apply. Let me get my little spread map. It's still pretty new to me. Yeah, we're going to use this little Soul Seeker, Star Seeker, Soul Seeker deck to lay out an initial spread, and then we will actually clarify with the good tarot today. Okay, so the idea here is to connect with your inner child, and if you're like me, you have more than one. And what we can see is how the inner child is coming up in your life. It may seem like you, but you may recognize your inner child at work in your life right now. So I'm shuffling this deck, and I'll pick the first card. Will be how the inner child is appearing in your life, in your behavior right now. Let's see what we get here. These cards are very sticky. They're new. Okay. Well, we get your inner child is appearing in your life right now as the Lovers. Interesting. Do we have a love addict appearing here? A lover. Okay. That is a great one. We get, this card is what happened in the past. That you know about, that you remember. You haven't forgotten this. This is not going to be a shocking memory reading, hopefully, unless you need that. But we get the Wheel, which is looking out through cobwebs at the starry night. Really, for me, spiders were a big part of my childhood. They were important friends to me as a kid. Yeah, the stars, sleeping out under the stars. We'll clarify that. The Wheel means change. So there could have been a big change that happened in your life that had caused some kind of trauma that led you to break and leave this inner child behind at a certain point. And this inner child is appearing as a lover. And this could be about choosing. I'm getting a kind of romantic addictiveness here, or kind of maybe looking to lovers like serial monogamy, or some kind of being a lover in a way that is maybe not working for you right now, that you need to heal that, how you're a lover. And so we'll find out more as we go. Now, what's hidden, the unknown influence here, is this card. And we get the Queen of Pentacles, this dramatic woman who is she's strangely dramatic, I think, for a Queen of Pentacles, but she is a very maternal figure. This one has, she seems very inward to me. So, if you've done inner child work, you've probably worked on your maternal side, but so this could be some other way of kind of a escapism, and the Queen of Pentacles is very much about security. We will clarify. All right, so who is this inner child appearing for us here as, wow, this Two of Swords. I love this Two of Swords in this deck. It's very powerful. The Two of Swords tends to be about an indecisiveness here, which is interesting because it's appearing here in your present as the Lovers, which is also about a choice. And this kid is very magical. I just really see kind of a powerful, magical person with the two swords and the blindfold and out on the sea in the dark night. I love this image for the Two of Swords. I get a lot more off of that for this kid appearing in your life. So we have somebody that, like, I'm thinking about someone that plays video games someone who believes in magic or likes fantasy stories, sword adventures. So this is a kid that likes those kinds of fairy tales like The Hobbit, but might also be like a gamer now, might be a side of you that likes to play games. I have a little sister that is quite the gamer. Alrighty, and now this card is the critical parent. So this is the defense system that you build up to protect this kid part of yourself and really to go through your life. This is connected to this kid. So there's something here about indecisiveness, and because the wheel appears in the past, it seems like there was a big change, and it may have caused you to get into an indecisiveness that is really rooted in a kid that went through that and came up with a really fantastic story about it, which we will explore further. So your critical parent is a hermit. So you might have a side of you that tells you that you need to go alone, you need to go inside, your critical parent might speak in the language of new age, spirituality. Like you might actually use tarot readings as a way of trying to exert your will and control your destiny, and it may not be working for you. It may be hurting you in some way. So, I mean, the hermit is, as a critical parent, would be a tendency to go alone, to look only inward, so difficulty looking outside for help and for other people's advice in this system. And the hermit is very much in the same kind of darkness that this Two of Swords, that this kid is appearing here as. This Two of Swords here is this really magical, powerful, but dark inner child. I don't have an age yet. I feel like this person is like a adolescent or teenager. It still seems like junior high here. We'll find out more as we go along. So now this is your advice on how to be a loving parent instead of a critical parent to this child. And we wonderfully get the High Priestess. Yay, the most intuitive, magical, mysterious. I just always feel very supported by a High Priestess. And when I'm able to trust my intuition and really listen to myself, and that's really interesting because we have this child is clearly, the blindfold here in the Two of Swords is about looking to your intuition. The Hermit also looks inward. But what I think the High Priestess adds is connection to the cosmos. And, it's a connectivity outside of yourself here. And I think this inner child is seeking that with the swords. Sort of, I see those as almost like ropes connected outward, whereas the Hermit is looking for an inner light, but they're very similar. So there's a tricky, subtle system to shift, and we definitely need to pull more cards here, right? And finally, as you heal this, you can look forward to a future of a Two of Cups here. Okay, so this part of you, this inner child, is coming out, acting out in your romantic relationships somehow. And we'll find out more about that because you get to heal the way that you love here in the future. Since we start with the Lovers, this is how it's manifesting right now. Like, this to me is like, oh, I'm acting out in some behavior, and how is my inner child? How can I, through inner child work, heal and change the way that I do this behavior? And it looks like how you love is what's coming up here. And there's a lot of It looks like an inability to open up to others and getting maybe stuck in indecisiveness. And that you're being advised to trust your intuition as the High Priestess does, to trust yourself, to trust what you know in order to decide. The fear is the wheel. What happened is the wheel, and what's hidden behind that is the Queen of Security, the Queen of Pentacles, who is here with her bunny rabbit in her book. Somehow this is a very, this gesture that she's doing. So it reads dramatic to me, but we'll find out more. Let's see what happens when we clarify with the Good Tarot. Okay, so let's find out about how this inner child is appearing in your behavior and in your life today. And it appears to be in the realm of love or in the realm of decision making. Although I think it's in the realm of love because the Two of Cups is your future once you're healed. It looks like you get to have that love that maybe it's idealized here overly, and then you get to have like the real thing in the future. Let's see. Okay. So the inner child here is appearing. You get the Ten of Water, definitely like the ideal of love. Here appearing as the Buddha. Also, Page of Air. There's a lot of social media reference here in the Page of Air. Page of Swords. And a Nine of Earth. Yeah, there's the solitariness here. Some kind of mistrust. Why do I say mistrust? I mean, they're beautiful cards. The Lovers, the Ten of Water. These are cards about finding your ideal mate. Ten of Water is like complete contentment with another, although this is an interesting one because it's the Buddha, which comes across for me as like I'm alone. I meditate, I'm alone, I'm solitary within my relationship. This is affirmed by the Nine of Earth, who's a very self-sufficient person. She's totally solitary. She knows her worth. She makes a lovely home. I just see somebody who is a bit frustrated or isolated within their love relationship. And there's something here about this Page of Air. So my first intuition is that there's some kind of swipey, I call it swipey, the kind of having a lot of quick sexual encounters, like some kind of sex addiction. Page of Air is the card that makes you think about watching somebody on social media, so there's something like that, perhaps idealizing, mistrust. It's very, there seems to be a strange mistrust. Well, not a strange mistrust in an inner child reading, but this kid self that you need to heal, and that's what this reading is to help with, is coming up in your romantic love relationships in some way where you're alone within them, and it looks like mistrust to me. So let's clarify further and see what happens. The Wheel is the card of what happened, what you remember that happened, and it's the card of divine change. It can be a card of luck. I'm seeing this as change. And we have the spider waiting in her web. Are you the spider? Are you the fly that flies into the web? And I get like a kind of outdoor camping, but also like a house with cobwebs in the corner. And like I think of Charlotte's Web too, like that. And yeah, I'm having this thought about like Charlotte's Web, you know, when you're at the end, she dies and you weep. But the whole story is like all of this fear, right? About the pig's gonna get hurt, you know? So that's all coming through with this card. And let's see what we can add to that with some more tarot cards here to clarify. These cards feel big. So we have a Queen of Water, the Queen of Cups, emotions, very emotionally mature, somebody meditating here. Could be one of your parents, could be you. Very receptive, very emotionally mature. So that's one figure in this story from the past. Another female figure, the Queen of Earth. This is also the hidden influence. It's the same, the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Earth are the same card in the tarot. So this is your hidden unknown thing that you need to know in order to help you through that. And she's appearing in your past. So these could be, they're people in your past. And interesting, the Lovers is on the bottom here. What's the third thing? The Ace of Air, a truth. The truth is flying away from these two figures in your past. So these could be grown-ups in your past. They don't have to be two women, although they may both be feminine. One is very emotional, the other is very much about security. She is quite similar to how you're appearing as how your inner child is coming up. She is, I think of her as quite related to the Nine of Earth. Except the Queen of Earth is, you know, the marrying type. And there seems to be dishonesty between these two because the Ace of Air is flying away from them. And so we see these two very different adults in your past and some kind of change that this wheel. I'm having trouble seeing this clearly. It may be that when you were a kid, you didn't really understand what was happening. It looks like there was an honesty, truth problem when you were a kid. And the grown-ups had trouble telling the truth to one another. And I think also because the Queen of Water is looking away from, like she has her back turned to the Queen of Earth, that there's a dynamic here where this one gets into her feelings and closes out this person. Even though the Queen of Water is typically quite open about her feelings, they're both looking at this wheel, this change. So I think as a result of some truth getting uncovered or some lack of trust, something changed here. So let's see, what didn't you know? Something about this Queen of Pentacles, this Queen of Earth. Like there's something that would help you to know about one of these grown-ups from your past. So you're just watching, when you're little, you're just watching something happening with the grown-ups. And it's not always clear what that is, but you leave with some kind of truth. Like your little child's mind translates what you're witnessing into a truth that becomes fundamental to how you go through your life. So if you think about the dynamics of your parents, it looks like one is quite emotional and contained and shuts the other one out, and that the security person is kind of looking at that other parent. So there's a kind of, I don't know, it looks fairly like you would almost not, I don't see, it's hard to see what this is. So let's look at what is not known here. Queen of Pentacles. this the Star, healing, wish fulfillment, 5 of Earth, feeling of abandonment. That is what I felt between these parents. And the Queen of Fire. Yes, it looks to me like there was an affair here where one parent abandoned the other for this Queen of Fire, this very sexy person. It would explain why you have some trouble with your love life, why this is coming up in your love life, because there's some kind of infidelity in your family when you were a kid. It caused everything to change. Yeah, and I'm seeing your Queen of Water, that parent, this one, the one that's ignoring the Queen of Pentacles. She is she's looking at the Queen of Pentacles as the Star, and then she turns her back on that relationship for this Queen of Fire. And the Queen of Pentacles, the stable parent, becomes quite brokenhearted about that. And I'm gonna guess that your kid self, felt like torn between these two parents here. I'm gonna guess, I'm getting a sense that there is a split between your parents. As soon as I saw the wheel, I thought there was something that for you was a big deal. And it has affected your love life today. You tend to have trouble trusting. And even within any couple that you're in, you isolate. You're the 9 of Earth there. And that's because when your kid self is in this dark place, torn between two parents, everything is unknown. You can see like the chaos here of the ocean, being in the surf. It's a very dramatic decision between the two parents, and you got lost in there. And so when you get into relationships, and you don't have a hold of who you are, of this kid self, it means that you can get lost. You feel torn, right? You feel in the Lovers, which is also about choice. It's as if you have to choose between your partner and yourself. Yeah, you have trouble with trust because your parents, one parent cheated on the other. So your mechanism for being safe is really this hermiting, this like going inward. Not being available to your partner, if you have a partner, if you're even brave enough to have a partner. You look very alone, as in the 2 of Swords. You look alone in the Lovers. This Buddha, this 9 of Earth, they're figures of solitude. Healthy feeling solitude, like you probably feel the Hermit too. It's like that is a very powerful place for you that you go. And when you're in that spiritual, solitary place, you're good. I mean, you're very good. But it looks like it makes, I don't know, the 2 of Cups is in your future. Like, if you want a partner, this system of being okay isn't working for you here. All right. I pulled these oracle cards, and it looks like there's some kind of realization that you need to have. Like, I don't know if you know what happened between your parents here. It looks like you don't know. Like, your Queen of Pentacles parent was really disciplined and protected you from the truth about why they split up, your two moms. They feel like two moms, but one of them is the pentacle person, the security, earth, abundance person, and the other is the emotional person who went off and had this affair, and appears to have left the other parent. So whoever, mom, dad, two moms, two dads, whatever you had, you don't really know that. And this realization will help you to go through into the world that you want to go through to here. I can read you that a little bit about that card. With self-awareness comes realization. Knowledge is power. Self-examination of your role within a situation is important. I have timely self-awareness and act upon my realizations. And I'm going to wait to read the next one, because let's see what this way, it says the way forward is clear. So because you're blindfolded here, this little one, this one is not that little. She or he or they're like, I want to say 12. 12 comes through strong for me as like the age that you were when your parents unintentionally taught you this lesson about not trusting in love, because they betrayed one another and you got abandoned in this betrayal. And so you abandon yourself in your relationships. Very common, very, very, very common thing to do. So let's see more about this Two of Swords you. King of Fire. So this could be that you're a Leo or a fire sign. It could be that you are just a very creative, passionate, this kid, creative, passionate, decisive, alpha person. It's interesting because there's this sense here that you're indecisive. There's an ability to be emotionally fulfilled in and of yourself. This is very clear. You're really good on your own. You do amazingly well with when you're outside of a relationship. You're comfortable. And then there's the Messenger of Earth, the most. I'd have to say I have a crush on this card in this deck. She is so beautiful and so alluring to me. But this is your kid. Sorry to bring my stuff in here. This card to me, Messenger of Earth is the Knight of Earth. It's a slowpoke knight. But this card to me is about the part of your inner child that is a romantic, that wants that earthy, nurturing quality that your mom, your dad, your Pentacles parent, this Queen of Pentacles, this it's a very maternal card. She's the marrying kind, right? And so this Messenger of Earth is appearing for me as a part of your inner child, as even though you're so good on your own, you have this passion and this really earthy, it's a need for the maternal, but it manifests as this really beautiful romantic, I don't know, there's just a lot of magic in this kid for me. It's not only because I picked the good tarot to clarify. That's why I picked the good tarot to clarify, because this is a magical child in you who is out there at age 12 casting spells in the night, I think in order to transform and manifest the world, another world. It's very powerful, very dark, but also contained, comfortable, alone. But there's also this passion to this part of you, and a really beautiful quality that wants to be seen and loved. And of course, inner child work, that's your job. You don't go find a partner to go do that for you. But until you do that, until you find this kid and love her or him or them, you're going to end up stuck in this hermit system alone. The reason I am pushing and questioning about this side of you that's romantic, that wants a partner, is because it's manifesting in the lovers, this dysfunction that you're doing inner child work around, and the future is this Two of Cups. So I'm just pushing that into my interpretation here. But what I really see is like a magical, creative, beautiful 12-year-old side of you that you can have access to. They are very it's not about sex. It's about fantasy. It's about almost like a storybook kind of fairy tale love. And that was what I thought when I first saw the Lovers, is you can have like such an ideal fairy tale romantic vision that it becomes hard to recognize something that's real, right? And the reason that you're looking for this vision is because you watched your parents' marriage or relationship fall apart over an infidelity. And so you're holding out your whole life for that perfect person. You've learned to become very solitary. The secret is that there's this kid in you who was torn between two parents. You loved both of them, and you were between them. And this is a very lonely place, moving back and forth between their homes and their lives. Any child of divorce knows that loneliness, and it can become habitual here. I see that. Okay, so let's look at this mechanism that you have constructed, this critical parent, this hermit tendency, this always alone, your whole life alone. And very much, it just seems very okay that you prefer this spiritual solitude. If at the end of this reading you still, this Two of Cups is you and you, wonderful. That's wonderful. So let's see. Okay, let's find out more about this hermit. A Four of Air. There's this sort of process of healing here in the hermiting. Absolutely. Going alone, looking to your own counsel to heal. This is a part of your survival system. A Page of Fire. This is this magical child. Nobody gets you. That's the story. Nobody's gonna be able to see how magical you are. Look at you. You have a tiger. You have a fantastic outfit. Like, you are cosmically connected child. Very alone though. There's a lot of fantasy with you. I relate to that. And then the Hierophant. Structure, spiritual structure. Yeah, I think because the Buddha is appearing as in your Ten of Water, and then you have the Hermit and the Hierophant here. I have a sense that you have a spiritual refuge, like you've been able to stay alone through a really profound spiritual connection that's very magical, and is definitely connected to this child. But this child is currently struggling in the realm of love. And so this adult practice of perhaps you meditate or you go on retreats, like you retreat. That practice is somehow leaving your little one, this adolescent one, in the dark, unseen. It's like you tell yourself nobody's gonna get you. You're too weird. Yeah, this one is a weirdo, right? I just think Aquarius just. The Page of Fire is the card of the person from another country, the foreigner, the alien. Also, always a snazzy dresser. That's why I think of Aquarius, even though it's just a Page of Fire makes me think of the temperament of Aquarius. You also have a King of Fire here, that Leo kind of. This kid likes attention. Your kid wants attention, and you are totally comfortable on your little isolated hermit spiritual path. And this tension here you're probably conscious of this attention in your adult life, that you're like you're so zen, you're so spiritual, but you get in trouble romantically. It gets messy in the love life here. And it's coming from this kid who has this deep desire to be recognized, to have a home, because they have been torn between the two parents, between homes. You live in the bridge between these two parents, one who betrayed the other and abandoned you. This is you being abandoned. 5 of Earth. You can see that sweet, sad kid right there. Because there's, somebody's desire. One of your parents is a love addict. Yeah. She abandoned the other one. And you get in trouble a little bit too with love addiction or sex addiction or something here. It seems in the fantasy realm, this kid. Yeah. Okay. All right, you cute little weirdo. You magical child with all your spells that you cast. The advice for grown-up you is to be the High Priestess. To really own this magic in you, this intuitive ability to connect. So it's still a spiritual path. The High Priestess and the Hermit are the masculine and the feminine, divine manifestations of the divine, the spiritual. If I'm remembering correctly, the Hermit, I think, is... Well, the Hierophant is also the equivalent of the High Priestess here. So interesting. Everybody is appearing here as a woman. Your parents are all women. There's a lot of femininity in your parents, both sides. So whatever that is, so you have your father, or you have two moms, or you have two dads who are gay. Like, I just get a very queer vibe here somehow. Yeah. I don't know what that is. Take or leave that. That's a very small audience. Okay. High Priestess. Well, I feel your absolute solitude. Like, I can feel how I can't quite reach you in this reading. I mean, I know you're there, but I feel the way that you retract into yourself. And I just wanted to tell you, like, I miss you when you do that. Like right now, I want that magical, I want this child to just come back here, you beautiful, magical person, you wizard child. come back here. Come back into this reading. This is you. You're so amazing. You're so amazing. I know you like to be seen. And I'm sorry if I teased you. I just had and I feel you came back. Thank you for coming back. It was strong the way you can withdraw here. Okay. High Priestess. 8 of Earth. Putting in the work. New skills. This music came up in my last inner child reading is a part of the inner child who's much younger than this one, but this idea of music being a kind of refuge. And this 8 of Earth has a fairy coming out, so there's just so much magic that needs to be seen, hidden in the details by the adult side of you. It's like, once I had a therapist who said, go out in the woods and find your magical self. And I did. And I feel like there's something here about you finding this 12-year-old magician, messenger of earth, this magical, the page of fire side of you, looking for that little fairy that's coming out from this cello. So looking into the details and knowing what you intuitively know. Like, you may have forgotten about this magical child, but you do have access to this as an adult, to this, because you're a very spiritual grown-up here. What else? Patience, which is a card of temperance. And I'm sad that this deck uses this in the place of temperance. She's a very loving, patient figure as a part of your grown-up, but I missed the angel doing, pouring the feelings, balancing the alchemy of the usual card for temperance in this deck. But this is what this is the right card for you for this message. The High Priestess, the 8 of Earth, and this gentle, patient side of you. And yeah, the oracle card here, Ice, it said it's about the High Priestess. You already know how to do, you already know the path. It says, the way forward is clear. See nature in its purity. Let it comfort you and strip away what is unnecessary. Freeze out what is not of benefit to you at this time. When you look at things clearly, there will be a purity to the solution. So this is still about that amazing ability that you have to go alone and to know, right? This High Priestess having clarity. It's an intuitive clarity. I just wanted to pull that other card. The other card that we get here for you is a very different card. The Hot Moon, Extremes. Learn how to handle crises with calm and resilience. Seeking balance is superior to seeking extremes. There are better ways to handle conflict than rage and outrage. I feel like you already know this. You know you have chosen to avoid extremes by being this spiritually calm person. But there is a realization that you can have about what happened in the past and how it has shaped your love life, or even somehow affected or limited your spiritual life in some way. And in that spiritual ability to connect with others, because you're such the hermit, you're so closed, right? You're wearing, even your inner child has this blindfold. You're so good on your own that, it's like you need to remember how to connect to nature, how to let nature speak to you, right? Like the little fairy coming out from the Eight of Earth. And we always also get in your advice the King of Water. This king is such a sweet, fun, gentle, grown-up that you can cultivate to care for your inner kid. And look, I love how this old guy has such wonder at this fish. So this is, it's so simple for me, this advice, is that you have a magical inner child. So magical. And you intuitively know this. You are magical as an adult because you have this kid in you and you have this ability spiritually to connect, like the High Priestess and the Hermit too, and the Hierophant, and the Buddha and the Ten of Water. Like, you are magic. And it looks it's like grown-up magic, like Buddhism, or whatever, the Hierophant, your faith of choice. But you can discover this sort of natural wonder at the magical in the very ordinary here, like the music coming out of the woods, this magical fairy, this tree that has turned into an instrument that communicates with incredible gorgeousness. So you have like a little fairy child in you that you get to have as a part of your spirituality. And so we see the Two of Cups. Maybe this is you and your inner kid here. You embracing yourself here in the future. Or maybe it signifies that you've healed through this process of loving this kid. You've healed this bad habit of that's sort of inhibiting you in your love life. Let's see. We can learn about the future here. These readings are always so long. It's very involving to get into the inner kid. So it's and then for me, like, the time went by like that. It's really incredible. I feel like this is why I learned tarot when I'm doing these readings. And I know it makes sense. I know it does, even though it's like murky and mixy and everything like that. So the Two of Cups, we get a changed perspective, the Hanged Man. I just love this. Talk about a fairy, a magical fairy kid hanging from the moon. I love this Hanged Man. So yeah, you get a new perspective on that kid for sure. Yay! Temptation here. Now this is the card of the devil. So the card, it can be just that you know, on the other side of this journey, that you have confronted your codependence, your addictiveness in love, perhaps. You can see that she has bitten a heart out of the apple, this sort of love-drunk fairy is just asleep on this apple. This, to me, is very, again, speaking of this magical fairy kid in you in the future, and just sweet dreams and just self-love comes for me in this temptation card. And thirdly, a Six of Earth. This, again, this is a card of stability, charity, generosity, this graceful buck here with pentacles hanging from his antlers. That's this person, that's this parent, this Queen of Earth who appears here in your hidden, something with this parent, in your pentacle parent that didn't tell you what happened, why your parents split up. I feel like that relationship with that parent, whichever one you associate with the security in the earth, the one that got really sad, your other parent went off with this Queen of Fire. I feel like in the future, you get to understand and forgive that parent. That's the thing that extreme card has something to say about somebody else. There may be someone who seeks to disrupt your business or life in some way. This too shall pass. I handle extremes with grace, yet I seek balance in all things. And there's this choice here. The Six of Earth is very much about balance. But I just feel like you need to understand that earth part of you, that connection to the earth, the gardener, the person that is the lover of earth. And this kid in you, this 12-year-old person, has access to that. And I think that child at age 12, somewhere around there, your earth parent, your kid remembers whatever that was. And if you get into that kid, then I feel like it heals your relationship with that parent. And I almost feel like I'll just say it and take it or leave it, but I feel like that parent is no longer alive. Like that earth parent, maybe your other parent is. I feel like your mom, I almost feel like your mom left your dad with another woman, but you got pissed at your dad somehow. But you're able as an adult to, you're spiritually, intuitively able to connect to this father figure. I think the earth parent is your father. That is just what comes into me. So take it or leave it. Yeah, I love this kid in you. I have a magical kid in me too. Different story. But I relate to this, and it has been so beautiful and fun to connect with my little magical self, my page of fire, my little beautiful magical child. Yeah, and I'm sorry that I called her a weirdo or him a weirdo. And thank you for coming back if you did. Wow. I see you loving yourself, but I also see you having a chance at a true, sweet relationship. A real one, not one that's based in fantasy. And that's the problem that brings you to this reading today. Some struggle in the way you love and fantasize about love as a way of preventing yourself from getting hurt, which has meant that you've actually ended up alone until now. But you don't have to be, because you always have this inner kid. Like whether you have a person or not, you have this beautiful kid. This kid that needs to be taken up out of the dark and seen for just what an amazing, beautiful person this kid is. Magical. Wise. One of those wise young kids. That's what this one is. Yeah. And this image of so we have the 9 of water in this kid, and there's the chest of riches, and this is in your temptation in the future here. It's a good magical kid that is just, it's so rich when you get to have the relationship the inner child work gives you with these kid selves. So good luck on this journey. I hope this helped, or at least was entertaining. I'll see you in the next inner child reading. Have a beautiful day.